Okay guys, every single day all of you spam me with questions, how to trade, how to become profitable, and today I'm going to answer all of them. So let's start. How do you deal with those long wick and have a good entry? First of all, the question is just phrased wrongly. It doesn't make sense, okay? A wick, you guys have to understand what a wick is. A wick is basically the price has been there, but it rejected from one zone and went down and it closed below. So it forms a wick. Now, we understand that, but my strategy is what, guys? It is SNR. It is not marked at the wick, it is marked at the body. But first, let me show you guys how it works. Okay, so now I'm going to explain H4 time frame first, guys, okay? Right now, we're looking at the SNR. We have support right over here. Bearish candle, bullish candle, support form, right? We have a support as market out. Now, the question you guys are asking is that, how do you deal with those long wicks? And how do you find the best entry? The best entry will always be at the body of the zone, because the body is where the SNR is. Not the wick, but the body. Why do we mark at the body? That's the question, right? Because the body is where the candle closes. It is where the buyers decide to close there. Now, we understand that. So now we're looking at the H4 time frame, and what we're looking at, we're looking at the bearish candle, bullish candle, support form right over here. Let's mark it out. Support form right over here. So the question you guys are asking is that, how do we deal with the long wicks? But first, you must understand, what does a wick mean? The wick means that gold has touched this zone and then it rejected and then it flipped bullish, right? It flipped bullish. So what does this mean? Most of you like to enter at the wick, but I say no to that. Always enter at the body of the candle. Why? Because the wick is just a lower time frame zone. Lower time frame zone means that it's weaker, but let me show you first. If you go to the M5, let's say M15, right? M5 and M15. If you see here, if you see right over here, this is where the wick is on the H4 time frame, and it is just a bearish candle, bullish candle, support form on the M5 only. So, which one is stronger, guys? H4 or M5? Obviously, the H4 is stronger. So, preferably, you would want to enter on the H4. Yes, this wick is still a last resort zone, but it's just a lower time frame zone. So now, we understand how wicks works. It is just a lower time frame zone. How do you find the best entry? Very simple. You find the best entry at the higher time frame zones. For example, now we're H4 zone. What did gold do? Gold touch the H4 zone, and then it form a new SNR form. That is our confirmation to entry. To answer this question easily, it's just to mark out the zone on higher time frame and enter from that zone. Wait for the 3 confirmations and enter from the zone, and that is how you find your best entry. So, any other questions? Analysis lower time frame M30 and below. Okay, no problem. Easy. Let me just restart this. So the question is, how do you analyze M30 and below? Actually, there's no difference. It's just the same thing. RVS, SPR, QM, everything that I've told you before can be applied on lower time frame as well as on the higher time frame. But let me show you. For example, okay, let's say you're looking at M30. Okay, I'm gonna give you a better tip. Okay, let's say you're looking at M30. Right now, M30 is having a QM sell. This is how you analyze, guys. You have to analyze with scenarios, not just, okay, we see a sell, so I'm just gonna sell. No, you have to analyze what happens. Let's say if gold breaks out the zone, most likely it's gonna go to this QM here to continue going down. If it breaks out this entire zone, it's gonna continue flying. So if it breaks out, I'm gonna take buys. You cannot just stick to one scenario, but you have to mark out every single scenario. Plan what might happen. Now, for example, right now M30, but obviously we have to go down to one time frame lower. On the time frame lower, actually, we're in a buy zone. Why are we in a buy zone? Because it is a bearish candle, bullish candle support form. So now M30 is bearish. There's no sell, there's no buy zone on M30. But M15 we have a roadblock where, guys, we have a roadblock right over here. So possibly gold could just fly from here. So this tip is first to trade with scenarios. Mark out all the scenarios. What could possibly happen if gold breaks out? What could possibly happen if gold reacts from the zone? And then mark out the roadblocks on lower time frame. That is the most important thing. For example, okay, now what is going to be a scenario? If gold breaks out this roadblock, it's going to continue going down to the next support right over here, and that is where we might TP. Simple as that. Most of you like to trade with what we call tunnel vision. You just look at one time frame. You trade according to that one time frame. What I'm teaching you right now is to mark out scenarios, trade with possibility, and always switch between every single time frame. So I hope that answers your question. Analysis is very simple, but trading with the knowledge of time frames, using everything I've taught you, is a bit hard. So try to apply that. Next question. That's I thought that was just praising me, but that's actually a question. Nowadays the candles is 200 pips. Well, technically now it's not 200 pips anymore. It is just manipulative during time because of US government shutdown. Actually, I've given 4 tips before. If the market is manipulative, now it is not manipulative anymore, but even though the market is not manipulative, you can always still wait for the last zone to entry to reduce your risk. Because if it's the last zone, if gold breaks out the last zone, it's going to go down 1000 pips. So most likely, the buyers are going to fight it. They're going to fight the war until they die. It's like their lives dependent on it. Because if that zone breaks, they die. So that is the meaning of the last resort zone. Secondly, if the market is manipulative, always wait for manipulation to happen. You can see, when manipulation happens, it's what we call SL Hunter, right? Gold touch your SL and instantly starts flying. So why not you wait for that manipulation to happen? Then you enter at the manipulation, you enter at the SL Hunter, and it flies. Because the same thing as entering at the last zone. Gold touches the last zone and it starts flying. Same thing for touching your SL. Because most of you like to set your SL at the last zone. So that's the second tip. Third tip is to be patient for 2 of these tips. And obviously, risk management. You have watched my videos. And if you understand risk management, you're fine. 200 pips of one candle is good for you if you know where to enter properly.
Okay, fourth question. Please make video on how to trade fresh breakout. Thanks for all you do for the community.
I like these people. They ask with politeness. No problem. Very easy, bro. This is a very easy question. Now I'm gonna explain the trade, but let me just look at the place where I can enter, where I can explain. Okay, actually, I'm looking at one trade here. This is the trade that I took yesterday. But let me explain first what was my mind behind this trade, okay? And how I'm gonna teach you guys how to trade fresh breakout. First of all, what you must understand is, obviously on the H4 time frame, we are bullish because we already broke out of the I didn't record. Okay, so let me find where I can teach you guys a fresh breakout. The question is, how do you trade with fresh breakout, right? Okay. Let me find a trade. Okay, actually I took a trade right over here. We caught around 300 pips at TP here, 300 pips to the moon in 30 minutes. I'm gonna explain. This is a setup with a fresh breakout. But first we must get the mind behind it. So let's go to the H4 time frame. On the H4 time frame, actually, during that time, it was a very clear breakout. Gold was extremely bullish, and I was waiting for a pullback to the buy zone right over here on the H4 time frame. Once it pulled back, what did I do? I went to the H1. On the H1, we also had a MTF, a resistance break, breakout support right over here. And what they go do? Boom, 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 breakout, pullback, fly. But obviously, yes, we have 2 breaks out, H4, H1 breakout. What do we want now? We have a new SNR form on H1 as well. We have a new SNR form right over here on the H1 as well. Now, what do we want? We want a breakout on one time frame lower to form 3 confirmations. Rejection form, new SNR form, breakout on the M30. Once H1 form a new SNR form, I didn't enter the H1. I entered at the M30 breakout right over here. As you can see, we have a resistance here. We have a QM, boom, 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 boom. We have a breakout buy zone on the M30, and this is fresh. This has not been tested before. But the moment I tested it, I entered and boom, 300 pips to the moon. Fresh breakout is very easy. You don't just enter without confirmation. You don't just enter the fresh breakout. You have to wait for all other confirmations. And when the fresh breakout happens, the direction is bullish, just enter it, you fly. Sniper entry. But obviously, you have to understand you can either enter at the breakout zone or at the new SNR form right over here. So, hope that answered your question. Next question. Good question. First of all, fuck prop firm accounts. Okay, it's a waste of my time, it's a waste of your time. Why? Okay, I've actually traded prop firm accounts since I started when I was newbie, right? I was drawn into their marketing strategy. Oh, free capital, bigger capital. Yes, we want bigger capital. But in reality, it is actually just the drawdown rules. Let's say you buy a 10k USD account. In reality, it is just you can raise only 500 USD. So technically, you only have 500 USD as account. What the fuck is the point? Second of all, no matter what you do, even if you pass the test like me, I passed the test, they banned me because I broke some rules about this, that. And during that time, when I passed the test, I was so happy. But at the end of the day, I didn't get the account. So you have to understand prop firm is what? Prop firm is just marketing, telling you to get bigger capital. But in reality, you have drawdown rules. You have to hit targets and then you have to pass 2 phases. What a scam. And how they earn money? They earn money by selling you demo accounts. So honestly, you can trade prop firm accounts. I'm not saying you cannot, but you have to find the right prop firm with the right rules and they're steady, because the prop firms that I use, I don't know if they scam me or what, because I passed the test. They just didn't let me trade with it. So yeah, next question. So that is it for today's video. Hope I answered all your questions, and I'll be answering all other questions in the next upcoming video. So make sure you guys subscribe, watch till the end, and now I'm gonna make 10 other educational videos for you guys. So stay tuned and I'll see you guys later.